Back Road Ministry, the world permit, Mr. Mighty coming back at you live and direct from the Kia Optima Studios. Rolling. Once again, beautiful Tuesday. Trying to motivate myself because my Tuesday is my Monday. So, what happened yesterday? What was the big event? Well, of course, the big event was Roman Reigns comes back to the WWE. For you wrestling fans, Roman Reigns went out on October 22nd, 2018, reporting to the fans that he once again was struggling with his cancer and that he had to go back into treatment. This was said October 22nd, 2018, a date with 43 numerology. Why is 43 important? Because in my video on Roman Reigns, I did a complete breakdown the day after stating that 43 was also a number used by one of our favorite secret societies, and pretty much to describe a member. They call themselves Joe. So you've heard of trained workers at one time, African-American trained workers being called Joe. So these men were in the secret society. Majority of these men were in the secret society. That's how they were able to become trained porters. If you remember, Malcolm X was a member of a secret society way before he joined the nation. And I think that's one of the misconceptions, that Malcolm X joined the secret society after he joined the nation for protection. No. Malcolm was a member of the secret society way before then because he was one of these porters. So you remember the angry man called Joe. That's what they used to call the porters on the train, because most of those men, at one point, African Americans couldn't join unions, so all they had was the protection of their lodges, really to, serve as their union. Masonic brothers communicating amongst each other, be it black, be it white. So Roman Reigns, in my video, you remember we talked about how he introduces himself as Joe. So he's telling you straight up he's a Mason. He's a member of a Masonic lodge. And then he goes into his cancer story and about how he had to leave and go back into chemotherapy. So 4 months and 3 days later, which is 43, I want you to hear this again. 4 months and 3 days later, last night, Joe returns to the WWE. He left on a date with 43 numerology. That's when he makes his announcement. 4 months and 3 days later, he returns, stating that his leukemia in gematria is 27. Yesterday was a date with 27 numerology. 2 plus 25 equals 27. That gives you 27 numerology. Also, some other things I'm learning, and I'm starting to listen to my brother with the Children of Israelite. Brother Children of Israelite, shouts out to you. A lot of information he's putting out, so I'm kind of getting into educating myself from his vantage point, because he's a member of the societies. He's kind of breaking it down from the things that he sees as a member of the societies. And one thing he points out is always look for number combinations like 711 or 911. You always see these combinations together, because in Masonry, these numbers mean something. 911 means something. We know that it means something in the practice of Judaism. In Hebrew, it means something, but 911 means something. 711 means something. So these numbers have very powerful meanings as you get very more deep into esoterics and vortex geometry. He talks a lot about that. So a lot of stuff that's out there to study to kind of keep up with the elites and kind of really dive deep. You talk about color patterns, things, a lot of good information. So Children of Israelites is in my, I'm subscribed to them. You can subscribe to them through me. A lot of good information, and he's going to put you up on some things that are very easy to spot when we're looking at fake news and we're really trying to tie these stories in, because at this point we need to be trying to tie these stories in. It's one thing to look at them and say, okay, what do they mean, and we try to really patch their meaning together, but what is the ultimate end game here? And I'm going to do a video on where we're actually going and why it's starting to get scary out here in the world, and why people need to really wake up, because we're really getting into that critical time that we talked about and been talking about for the past 2 years. So Joe returns. Joe, like we said, equals 43 in gematria. 4 months, 3 days he returns, which is 43 in gematria, of course. on a date with 27 numerology, leukemia equals 27, to state that he's coming back to the WWE. So this was all a planned ritual for him to return this way. But why? Why is he going to return this way? Because he's going to turn evil. He's going to turn evil. Remember, Vince McMahon really did not want to turn Roman Reigns heel, because I think he did not believe the fans would buy it, because Roman Reigns was such a garbage character. He was such a garbage character. So I think he really didn't think the fans would buy it if Roman went evil. So he had to kind of create a way for Roman to be seen as a bad guy. And we see this a lot in Hollywood, where you'll put characters in certain situations if you want to change up how they're viewed. Remember Pee Wee Herman in the bar, in the movie theater, jacking off? That was a story, a ritualistic story, pretty much to kind of change the way that he was viewed, because he wanted to do various acting jobs but couldn't, because they were still seeing him as Pee Wee Herman. So it kind of changed up the narrative. So with Roman Reigns, this is a changing of the narrative, where he'll come back and he has the sympathy of the fans, and at WrestleMania he will turn on Seth Rollins and become heel. This is all a publicity stunt, all a way of marketing an athlete that nobody really was feeling. So this was the only way they could do it. Get the sympathy. This is how Hollywood works. Get the sympathy, and then turn the person. Turn him heel. It happens in wrestling a lot. But you turn this person heel, and he'll have a longer run as a heel than he ever would as a good guy, because nobody really likes him. So they'll love him as a heel. But using cancer, and the thing that, people still don't understand is, even wrestling, they want to take wrestling as real. Do you have some serious injuries in wrestling? Yes, but usually those people don't return. You talk about Edge, folks like that. We talk about the young lady who they're doing a movie now. Those folks don't ever page. Those people don't return. Once they get hurt, severe injuries, they don't return. Daniel Bryan was one of the lucky ones who was able to return, but a lot of folks don't return. So, a lot of guys with cancer, after the chemo, you ain't getting up on the machine and talking about, I'm about to go back to wrestling. It just doesn't happen. So, all pretty much a staged little stunt. Did he suffer from cancer at one point in his life? Yes. Yes, he did have cancer at one point of his life. But this is not the point. This was a stage rigged ritual to repackage a character as a bad guy, but get the people to buy into the heel turn and really get some real good heel heat for the character. These people are sick. This is what they do. This is what they do until people really start opening up their eyes and really seeing things for what they are, and then knowing things, knowing the sciences of the world, knowing gematria, reading your Bible, knowing some scriptures, reading your Quran, reading your Torahs, seeing how these people mix all this stuff into daily rituals, the Oscar rituals. So, like I said, the Brother and Children Israelite talks a lot about biblical scriptures, how they tie it in, kind of adds on to the stuff, some of the stuff that Zach does, really builds on the things like Dan Brand does, how Dan kind of ties everything together to get one key message. And that's really what we have to start doing, tying things in to get the key message, because this is just another message connected onto a list of things that are going to happen. America's going to be seen as the heel in a minute. America's going to be seen as the bad guy. The world is going to turn on us. Pretty much that's where we're going. All our deceptions, all our lies are going to come back to hunt us, and the world is about to turn on us. We need to get ready for when the world turns on us. And I'm going to drop some other nuggets of information in another video before the end of the day. Peace and hair grease, back row ministry, world premiere. Stay safe.